The newly introduced GST reforms are now being hailed as one of the most transformational reforms, with promises of lower tax rates, ease of doing business and a stronger push for India's growth story. In an exclusive interview to News9, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal speaks on the big changes ahead, from boosting consumption and exports to easing compliance and shaping India's economic future. Let's listen in.
So joining us now on News9 is Union Minister for Commerce and Industry, Mr. Piyush Goyal. Sir, thank you so much for taking out time and very warm welcome to you, especially in the time when whole country is talking about the GST 2.0 and what it really means for the consumers, industry and India's growth story. So what's your assessment for that, sir?
Well, I think this is probably the most transformational reform measure I have seen since independence. It will have a dramatic impact on consumer behavior and consumer spending. It signals to the Indian consumer that going forward, they will be able to spend more money towards a better quality of life, with rising incomes, with improving wage levels, with an economy that is the world's fastest growing economy, with more and more people coming into the formal workforce. India is poised today in the Amrit Kal, next 22 years, to grow from a $4 trillion to a $35 trillion economy. And this massive reduction of GST tax rates, the rationalization of rates, the simplification of the entire process will be a milestone in our journey towards a developed and prosperous India.
So it's indeed a big Diwali bonanza, but a big question though is in mind that two slabs are scrapped. Will manufacturer pass on the benefit to the consumers, and as a Union Minister for Commerce and Industry, how will you ensure that?
First of all, there are mechanisms in the law also to make sure that there's no profiteering and an anti-profiteering law by which we can check that. But our belief and Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi's style of working is trust. Because 140 crore people of India trust him. He also trusts the people of India. He trusts business. He trusts the traders. He trusts the industry participants. He trusts our MSMEs. He knows that they also realize that by passing on this benefit to their consumers, they will expand their market. As they expand their market and more demand for their goods and services, it will encourage more investment, more growth, faster growth, more jobs. And economies of scale always brings competitiveness, efficiency, productivity. It helps you then look at international markets. So my feedback from whoever I've talked to from different sectors of industry is that they have committed to pass on the benefits that will accrue because of this huge cost reduction, GST reduction, and that will be a big spur which will take the economy to newer heights.
Very nice, sir. But timing is also an issue, sir. Like besides boosting the consumer demand, consumption demand, how do you see it as a possible shield against USA's 50% tariff?
First of all, let me tell you the two are not hyphenated. Obviously, this work has been such multidimensional and comprehensive changes that it must have taken months and months of hard work by the groups of secretaries, groups of ministers, by the finance ministry. Honorable Prime Minister has put in a lot of effort and given direction and guidance to the whole process. It has been his personal desire that more and more benefits reach the common man, the middle class, the poor, our women, our youth, our farmers. And therefore, it's only a matter of chance that the compensation cess would be ending very soon. And that gave us the elbow room to look at this dramatic improvement in the whole GST structure and reduction in rates. While it is happening at around a similar time, by coincidence, it does help ameliorate some of the difficulties some exporting segments have, because they could look at a greater domestic demand for their goods and services with more competitive prices and high quality goods. So my sense is it will certainly contribute to reducing the burden on such people, such industry. We are also working with many other countries, almost 50 other countries, and our missions are actively engaged to see where else we can look at exporting more of those products. So like we talked to the UAE minister last week to help us get into the African continent and approach textile importers over there so that we can export textiles to the African continent. We are looking at alternate markets for fish, shrimp that we export. So on the one hand, we are looking at newer markets, newer exporters, newer products also to expand our trade basket. On the other hand, we continue to work towards a fair, equitable and balanced first tranche of the bilateral trade agreement with the US. I'm sure all in all of these steps collectively will help the country grow faster and bigger.
अब मैं सवाल एक हिंदी में पूछना चाहूँगा सर, क्योंकि मास इम्पैक्ट है इसका। भारत रूस से तेल खरीदता है इसलिए टैरिफ लगाया गया, ये ट्रंप प्रशासन कह रहा है, उनका ये लॉजिक है, और वो उनके सलाहकार तो यहाँ से एक लेवल आगे जाकर कहते हैं कि ये मोदी की वॉर है, और वो कहते हैं ब्राह्मिन्स को बहुत फायदा हो रहा है। तो क्या सरकार में इसको लेकर कोई चर्निंग है? क्या हम रूस से तेल खरीदने को लेकर कुछ मंथन कर रहे हैं कि करेंगे आगे, नहीं करेंगे?
इस विषय में ज्यादा तो फॉरेन मिनिस्ट्री चिंता करती है और देखती है। हमारा तो व्यापार के संबंध रहता है, व्यापार से हम जुड़े हुए हैं, लेकिन मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि भारत के हितों को मद्देनजर रखते हुए सभी निर्णय लिए जाएंगे।
प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी in his Independence Day remark from the rampart of the Red Fort has talked about the next gen tax reform. So GST is also a big reform, but besides GST, what sort of next reform we can see in near future?
A lot of things are happening. You may be aware we have brought in a number of changes to the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, which has been referred to a Committee of Parliament, Joint Committee of Parliament. Similarly, Jan Vishwas Bill 2 has been introduced, by which another 355 sections are sought to be decriminalized and simplified. In that, we are looking at more ideas, and we have identified another 500 provisions of law which could be decriminalized. We are working with the states and local bodies to see how we can reduce compliance burden and make it easier to do business. We are also engaged with stakeholders to understand how we can simplify processes or procedures, what can be made online. We believe in trust and self-certification, and we are going to try and make life so easy, get officialdom out of the lives of business. Our focus of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is ease of doing business and ease of living for the common man. And with these two mantras, the entire government is collectively working.
So as we know that reforms are a lot to do with the sentiments also, sir. So what would you say from the industry perspective if GST 2.0 is a big reform? States are raising concern for the revenue losses. Is that a concern?
I don't think so. First of all, our collections are now over 22 lakh crores. A small calculated loss of revenue, and both center and state, both will have to face it. Need not really materialize, because the scale of operation and the growth in demand will more than offset any such possible revenue shortfall. My own sense is it will expand the market and give greater opportunity for Indian goods, for Indian manufacturers, or for investors to invest in India, to produce in India, particularly given the sentiment of Swadeshi, which is fast catching up all over the country. Today, wherever I go, people say, forget the past, but in future, I'm going to buy Indian-made goods. Wherever I go, I'm finding a lot of people saying that my supply chain has to be resilient. I want Atmanirbharta in my business. So wherever there are gaps or I'm dependent on imports, I'll try to indigenize and make it in India.
Final question. Opposition, especially Congress, is saying that this has happened, this GST 2.0 has happened because of our pressure, and it should have happened 8 years ago. And they are raising a slogan that Sarkar Tumhari, System Hamara. What would you say?
जनता सरकार तय करती है. People elect the government. They trust and they believe will deliver. And they have elected Prime Minister Narendra Modi for 3 times. This is his 3rd term. Because they know he says what he does and he does what he says. He's a doer. He works 24 hours round the clock with a single-minded purpose for the welfare of India, for a better future for India. He's a very sensitive person, very caring for the poor, for the middle class, for women, for the youth. Takes care of the interests of farmers and fishermen, MSMEs. He's a leader who's decisive yet firm. He's a leader who's sensitive yet very big-hearted. He's a leader who cares for every section of society, from the northeast to the southern tip of India. He understands that India can only grow when there is inclusive growth. The poorest man at the bottom of the pyramid should get a better future. Only then India can grow. The northeast and eastern parts of India should see rapid development. Then India will become a developed nation. Therefore, his focus has been on the northeast. His focus has been on Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, the eastern parts of India. Because he recognizes they are the growth engines of the future. And I am very, very confident that with the new thrust on Swadeshi, with the growing urge and aspiration for the middle class, the youth of India, for a better quality of life, for the good things of life, better television, new refrigerator, air conditioner, a nice two-wheeler, motorbike or a car, with the desire to have better clothes, watches, shoes, the understanding that Prime Minister demonstrated when he reduced the duty on cosmetics, on hair care products, beauty products, it shows that he understands the mind of young India. He's youthful in his mind. He's committed and dedicated to a developed India. And this is the collective resolve of 140 crore Indians that he represents. The Congress always believed in slogans, never delivered. They talked of Garibi Hatao in 1971. They could do nothing till 2014 of some significance. It is under Mr. Modi that 25 crore poor have come out of poverty. The middle class is growing, their strength is growing, their contribution to the nation is growing. The people very well understand that they kept talking they will bring GST but failed miserably. Prime Minister Modi came in 2014. Within 3 years, he delivered GST. Continuously improved GST. Continuously reduced the rates. Brought in a wide-ranging set of reforms, multi-dimensional in different sectors of the economy. And now finally, with this huge reduction in GST rates, he has shown to the world that India has arrived. India has the strength to be able to make bold reform moves. And in the next 22 years in the Amrit Kal, we will certainly grow to become a $30-35 trillion economy. 8 times today's size, where every child born in our country will have a prosperous future, will live in a developed nation with high quality of life, with all the good aspirations being met.
Thank you so much, Piyush ji, and thank you so much for giving your valuable time to us and talking thoroughly on all the important issues. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskar.